Hey guys, and welcome to Drive Steady. In this video we're going to talk about the newly released BMW M8 and share our perspective on if it deserves to wear the M badge. After seeing several spy cars running around the past couple months, BMW has officially released news of the M8 and M8 competition. Predictably, it's going to come both in coupe and convertible form, and it's going to be the most expensive car that the BMW M division has ever made. To start off, we're going to give a brief description of the specifications or the specs related to the M8, and of course we like to talk about the engine first. The M8 comes with a familiar BMW 4.4 liter twin turbocharged V8, which pumps out 600 horsepower and 553 foot-pounds of torque, while the competition package or the competition trim adds 16 horsepower, which bumps it up to 616 horsepower. But interesting, it doesn't add any torque. The impressive thing about the V8 is that it still spins to 7,200 RPM redline, which is pretty high for an engine that has forced induction. So kudos to BMW for still maintaining that high RPM redline like it did with some of its older cars, like the older generation M3 with the straight 6 and the M4 and M5 and some of its historical cars. Moving on to the transmission, the engine is connected to an 8-speed M Steptronic transmission. This is an automatic gearbox. This is similar, if not the same transmission that's found in the M5, but unique to M models, BMW offers a Drive Logic software which allows the driver to configure shift characteristics via a newly designed shift lever in the M8. Of course, the shifts can also be manually controlled via shift paddles on the steering wheel, which is pretty common nowadays. Next, moving on to the all-wheel drive, as BMW calls it, the M Xdrive. The M division is now putting all-wheel drive in their cars, something that they would have been butchered maybe about 10 years ago. All the BMW, especially M fanatics, would have killed them over this, but now it seemed to be acceptable. But the M8 is no different, following the path of the M5 as it's fitted with the M Xdrive all-wheel drive system that allows the driver to choose between 3 drive modes. And those are 4-wheel drive, which is the default mode. Next is the 4-wheel drive sport mode, which is delivering a larger amount of power to the rear wheels. And finally, 2-wheel drive mode, essentially rear-wheel drive mode, which sends all the power to the rear wheels. The 2-wheel drive mode can only be enabled when the DSC or dynamic stability control is disabled. It's nice of BMW to offer the ability to operate the car in 2-wheel drive mode. This is where technology allows us to enjoy the best of both worlds, and we're definitely happy about that, given BMW's history of building 2-wheel drive cars for its previous M models. The Xdrive will work with the active M differential to put the power to the ground efficiently. Next, we move on to the suspension. And this being an M car, of course, the M division has beefed up the suspension as it relates to the non-M car. So in this case would be the M850i. But the componentry in the M8 comes standard with BMW's adaptive M suspension, M-specific forged links, newly developed front tower struts, underbody X-brace, amongst several other suspension enhancing items. All of these things would contribute to better handling, grip, and structural rigidity of the M8 over a base M50i. Next, I want to talk very quickly about the brakes because there's something very interesting I'd never seen before. The M8 is going to have specific M brakes, of course, and in addition to that, they're going to offer an optional carbon ceramic option. But here's the interesting part. The brake feel can be configured. The driver can choose between a comfort or a sporty direct feel. My assumption here is that the comfort feel will have more pedal travel versus the sporty direct feel will be a little bit more touchy, a little more sensitive on the brake pedal. So that's something we've never seen. I'm interested to see how it works out in real life, but kudos to BMW if they're able to make that work, offering additional levels of customization for the driver's needs. The next part is the exterior, and in typical M fashion, the aerodynamics are changed on the M8. Items such as front bumper, the rear diffuser, the front wheel arches, which are marks of the M cars, the rear spoiler, and of course the M mirrors. The M8 also comes with 20-inch wheels, and it's wrapped around staggered 275 front and 285 rear tires. Now moving on to the performance of the M8, and the top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour, but it can go up to 189 miles per hour if you option the car with the M driver's package. Now 155 versus 189, sure, that's a big difference in speed, but you're not really going to be able to explore these speeds on public roads. Why does the M driver's package even matter? But moving along, the M8 will hit 60 in 3 seconds flat for the competition coupe model. Considering that the M5, the new M5 competition was much quicker than advertised, and the fact that BMW is severely underrating this 4.4 liter V8, I anticipate that the M8 will get to 60 in less than 3 seconds in good conditions, and assuming the driver knows what they're doing. And before we get to our thoughts on the car, I want to touch on the pricing a little bit. The M8 Coupe will start at $133,995, and the convertible will start at $143,495. If you want the competition model, it's going to cost you $13,000 more on either trim. Whether you get the coupe or the convertible, you're paying $13,000 more for the competition package. That's a steep price for 16 more horsepower. Moving on, depending on what part of the country you live in, the M8 is expected to land in dealer lots most likely in the third or fourth quarter of 2019. So now that we've covered the M8 specs, or whatever's available as far as M8 specs go, I want to give you my thoughts on the M8. When I saw the 8 series, or the M850i, I thought it was very cool looking and futuristic. The M8 is no different, as BMW typically does a great job with styling on M cars, but I'm asking myself this question: why do we need this car? Let me explain. I'm going to compare it to the M850i and its competitors. The M850 has the same 4.4 liter V8 twin turbocharged engine. It's got great styling and mostly the same interior, and it still has the M in its name. Remember, it's no longer the 850i, it's the M850i. It gets to 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. It also has all-wheel drive, and it can be fitted with M Performance brakes. It has an equally comfortable and luxurious interior as the M8. I'm not seeing a real reason to pay the extra 20 grand for the M8. I keep mentioning this when I talk about modern cars, but the M8 is not a special car even though it wears the M badge. Sure, it's blindingly fast. It gets 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and it'll probably get it less than 3 seconds. But the M6, which the M8 is replacing, hasn't been special since BMW put the 10-cylinder in the M6 2 generations ago. And that car was even optionable with a manual transmission. So I'm seeing this trend of the M brand being diluted, and I don't see it differently in this M8 model. I also wanted to touch on the price. As I mentioned, the M8 is going to be the most expensive M car BMW has ever made. The price starts at $134,000. Add in the fact that most buyers will pay the $13,000 and get the competition package, so you're at $147,000. And let me guarantee you this, there is no way you're going to walk into a BMW dealership and find a $147,000 M8 competition coupe. Guaranteed there will be cars that are spec'd with multiple options, bringing your M8 competition coupe to north of $150,000. Now, I understand how BMW is pricing this because the competition to the M8 is most likely the Mercedes S63 Coupe, and the base price for the Mercedes is $169,000. So I get the $150,000 price tag, and you could argue that the M8 has more technology, has newer designs, is faster, and it looks sportier. However, for a coupe that's nothing special, it's a tough pill to swallow considering that you can buy a brand new 911 for less money. I mean, you can also even get a nice used exotic car for $150,000 nowadays. I guess I'm in the minority as BMW still sees a market for these cars. It just goes to show you that with the exception of a couple manufacturers, they no longer care about creating special cars. Maybe it's due to the way the social preferences are being prioritized nowadays. Unfortunately, if you want a special car, you need to go into the $200, $300, $400 million price range. And even if there's an affordable special car that's being made, it's extremely limited and hard to get, and dealers play like it's a unicorn. Basically, the result of that is it's making older, cool cars go up in value. But you can tell I'm frustrated about this topic and I treat it very passionately. I'm going to digress about the car market and get back to my final thoughts on the M8. So what am I getting at with the M8? In the past, BMW used to make special cars, specifically BMW M cars. What's happened? The M8 is the highest priced M car ever made. When I think of high-priced BMWs from a not too distant past, I think of the BMW Z8, which is an unbelievably beautifully designed car and rare and has good performance, also comes in a manual transmission. But the M8 is nowhere near the Z8 in any way other than besting it in performance. It's a sad day because BMW is making cars, or the BMW M division is making cars so it can just say that we've got a dog in the fight. For that reason, and all the reasons I mentioned above, I think the M8 is not worth the price tag. It's also possibly not worth the M8 badge. If I were in the market for a big, fast, two-door luxury coupe, I would just stick with the M850i. Those are our thoughts, so we'd like to hear yours. Please drop us a comment on what you think of the BMW M8. And as always, till next time, drive steady.